They're going to kill Kairi one too many times. And then I'm quitting Umineko. I'm slamming the desk. I'm slamming the desk. Throwing my PC out of the place. Maria becomes the main character. Oh, boy. Only in my nightmares. Okay, if Sakataro became the main character for whatever reason, then for sure, yeah. We end. We end the series. It was fun while it lasted. It was fun while it lasted. Alright, hello, welcome to the stream. Thank you for joining as the penultimate questions arc stream. Congrats on yes, Final Fantasy is done. No more Final Fantasy 16. I did literally everything you could do in that game except for the new game plus and the optional like arcade like fights that that if I did it would unlock one more collectible thing that I was just like, I don't need to do it. I thought the combat was serviceable in the game, but I didn't enjoy it enough to be like, oh, I want to do like challenge room combat things. Like I just You'll play it soon, Copium. I want to release on PC. Man. You'd have to think it has to eventually. Can't be that long. Right? Right? It was a pretty good game, though. I'd say you enjoyed it, I think. Don't go in with super high expectations. 6 months sounds like that would be a time frame they would give. I also don't know if I ever read that there was a time frame or not. But if there was a time frame and if it gave a time frame, 6 months sounds right. I just remember months ago it was just like, oh, we had to delay working on anything other than PS5 because then it would take longer, kind of thing. I don't know exactly what they had said. But yeah, Final Fantasy's done. We're mostly this week focusing on Rain Code as we finish that kind of game up, sorta. And of course Umineko. But yeah, in the next, I'd say next 7 to 14 days, probably have another game and a half, 2 games, small games possibly added to the channel. Did I end up reading the red text at the end of I did. Yeah, the red text that flashed. I can't recall it now, but I did as I was getting it up. It was like it was a lot of like do it or I'll die. Something. I remember looking at it, but there was like text that was like do it or I'll die, or something. Why does my head just keep going to something or I'll die? I know there was other text, and then my mind is just like blinking. But I did go back and watch it. Please kill me sounds right, yeah. That sounds like a thing that was happening. Kind of ominous. Who wants to die? Who wants to die is the thing. Anything else to discuss before we go into the tea thing? As I think you and I have talked about in other streams, about Angie reviving Sakataro thing. Oh god. See, I gave the answer I thought, and then you're like, that's not really right. And then I was like, oh shit, I'm so dumb. I felt so bad. I didn't go back and watch it again because when you told me I was somewhat wrong or whatever, wrong may be a harsh term, but that I may not have hit it directly on the head, the nail on the head. I did I should have gone back and rewatched it just to see if I inferred anything else. Yeah, sure, give me a hint. Cause I went back, not that I went back, but at the time I recall and I was like, well, I thought Angie was saying that Beatrice isn't a true witch, and that something about the magic has something to do with some kind of emotions or something. And then I was like, has to do with that other mystery. Has to do with the boat shop thing? The scene where I was maybe could have seen something, unless it was something I already knew was there. In which case, then it's like blind to the, or invisible to the naked eye. That's a pretty good hint, because that just makes me, like, confused in a good way. And I probably, like, knowing myself, I probably won't go back to that boat shop scene until, like, until I finish the game, the whole game. Like, I don't think I would try to piece it together at this point and go back to that scene now that you had told me. So then it just remains a mystery on my frontal lobe. So yeah, the plan is, in the interest of keeping a clean break in both the archive VODs and streams technically, I'm led to believe that we can finish this extracurricular activities of Chapter 4 in a short stream today and a short stream on Saturday. Basically, I'm thinking like 2 to 2.5 hours tonight, and then whatever's left into Saturday. Then that would mean then the next week, whether I decide to start midweek or Saturday, then we'll have a clean Into the Answers arc. And then that's going to be right towards the beginning of September-ish. And then we really got to go at pace, an episode a month. So, we'll see. We'll see if I can do it. We'll see. I have to just keep saying that I'm going to do it, because if I give myself any leeway, then I'm not going to be able to do it. If I say like, oh, maybe it's not doable, then like I'll just fall into that trap and I won't do it. I won't get it done. And the goal is to get it done by the end of the year, so. All right, anything else to discuss before I click on Tea Party here? Or I guess before I click episode 4 Tea Party? Is this going to be an exciting stream? All right, what could the game possibly tell me of interest here? The second day. Oh, we're back in 86. Oh shit, the second day. We're finally advanced today. Oh my god, sound the alarms. Uh-oh. Wait, did it advance from like 12:01 the second day all the way to almost the end of the second day? Is that what I'm to gather there? Okay, I was right. Okay, I wanted to make sure I interpreted the clock correctly. I was like, is that what we were saying? We went basically second day all the way to the end of the second day. Bring. I gotta get in reading position here. Oh, I know why it's off. I usually have Umineko. I usually have PC games turned, just because of the way audio works, turned down in my own head quite a bit, and I forgot to do that tonight. There we go. Okay. A mystery person says, I don't have a clue what's going on. Please, someone explain in a way even I can understand. What happened yesterday? I was in the kitchen of the mansion grabbing some food without permission. If you open up that massive business class refrigerator, you can find anything. You can eat and drink as much as you like. Who could this be? Even if the typhoon didn't clear up for a week, I'd have more than enough to eat. With wine in one hand, I was helping myself to some dry cured ham. Okay. I was gonna say, with the way, the speaking tone, I was like, it can't be, like, Maria. And then I was like, wine, it's definitely not Maria. Who would be helping themselves to some... Who likes some dry cured ham? Who would be just chilling in the mansion? Who's still alive? Why? I'm racking my brain for some reason. I wonder just how expensive this wine and ham are. You ingredients are out of luck, too. If only you had Goto-san to cook you, you could have been reborn as much more incredible food. I looked at the clock. Can I cheat? Can I just cheat with this? Is this gonna give me a... I mean, who is still alive? Oh, fuck. Alright, I looked at the clock. Very soon, it would be midnight. October 5th, the second day, would end. The insane October 4th, yesterday, seemed like a lie. That's how much nothing had happened after that test thing. Nothing happened. No phone call came, and no letters came. Yeah, the character reference sheet thing didn't really help me there. Just George. Just George. No person came, and no one attacked me. Nothing happened at all. I want to start demanding a refund on all the time and energy that tension stole from me. Because after that, for an entire day, a full 24 hours, nothing happened. So surely, nothing's gonna happen now. A full 24 hours ago, Beatrice called me to the spot in front of the mansion's entrance. Is this Badler? There, I was given a okay. There, I was given a strange test to determine the successor to the headship or whatever. I gave a serious answer in my own way, but somehow I hadn't meshed with the other side. Beatrice got pissed for no reason and fell silent. I yelled at her to try and say something, but she gave no answer. When I asked where Maria was, she just told me to go to the chapel and left. To tell the truth, it was an anticlimax. No matter what kind of weird test you give, at least tell me whether I've passed or failed. Are you trying to say thanks for coming, your results will be mailed to you later or something? Quit messing with me. Anyway, then head to the chapel. After failing their test, both George and Iki and Jessica were killed. I couldn't let Maria get killed too. Also, I might get a chance to catch some person trying to kill her. As a little kid, I often heard from Jessica that you'd get in trouble if you were near the chapel. So I'd never been there, but I at least knew where it was. I couldn't find any trace of a person there, but there was a key bundle lying in front of the door. I thought this might be someone telling me to open the door, but after trying all the keys, I found that none of them fit. I also called Maria's name, but there was no answer whatsoever. I searched around the chapel, but there was a limit to what I could do in the pitch black with just a flashlight. I realized that this key bundle might be a set of master keys, which could make it possible to open the door of the mansion. I found no sign of Maria, so I returned to the mansion. And had myself some ham. The mansion was wrapped in silence, and in a horrible stench. However, it's amazing how good humans are at adapting. The inside of the mansion must still be wrapped up in that smell. However, I grew completely used to it and stopped minding it. Gross. It didn't seem any worse than the old house where someone had burnt some meat. Ew. At first I was bewildered by the stench, but I decided to head to the dining hall for the time being. And found those corpses that were pitiful. That were so pitiful. Goto-san and the rest had hesitated to speak of them in detail. Aye. Ah. Her corpse was found in the dining hall. About half of her head was destroyed. It's probably reasonable to assume that she was murdered with a powerful gun or something similar. However, witnesses don't believe she was killed with a gun. Dining hall, about half his head was destroyed. Probably usually assuming he's murdered with a powerful gun or something. I think they all say the same. Yes. Great. It was the remains of Aunt Natsui and the others who'd become the first victims. Half of each head had been completely split open. It was so gruesome that even without knowing a thing about examining corpses, I could say that they were 100% dead. And on top of that, the remaining halves of their faces were left like normal, so it was even easy to identify them. Really convenient corpses these were. In addition to those 6 bodies, was one more. The 7th corpse was Maria. Oh, darn. Her corpse was found in the dining hall. Battler wasn't able to make out any wounds, so he assumed that she was killed by some kind of poison. Most peaceful form of invitation to the Golden Land. Oh, man. Pour one out. She lay next to Aunt Rosa, as I was sleeping alongside her. I cried. At the death of an innocent young girl, and at the cruel way my dad and the rest had died. I raced through the mansion swinging that hat-stand spear, yelling, "Come out here, bastard!" But I couldn't find any trace of anyone else. Thinking they might be planning to hide somewhere and attack me from behind, I went around searching for hiding places. Sometimes growing more cautious, and sometimes intentionally letting my guard down in various ways. But in the end, not even a kitten appeared. Then, morning came. My tension and fatigue combined with my drowsiness, making for the worst kind of dawn. Humans, are pretty incredible. Even when a murderer might be hiding somewhere, we prioritize drowsiness and fatigue over our own lives. By that time, I was starting to feel pretty ridiculous. After all, for a full 6 hours before dawn, I'd walked around the mansion, yelling at the culprits to show themselves. My search had been a careful one, and I tired myself out and let my guard down. Even so, no one came to attack me. Basically, I lost patience with them and figured they could do whatever the hell they wanted. The boat won't come until the typhoon passes. They said on TV that it won't pass until tomorrow, so I've got another full day today. Lazing about lost its interest. And even though I knew it would probably make the police mad, I decided to play detective a bit. Oh boy. Oh boy, Battler. First was the dining hall where the very first murder had occurred. The 6 who had been killed in the beginning were really pitiful. The weapon used was probably a gun. Maybe their heads were split by something powerful like a magnum bolt or a shotgun. It was a reasonable theory to hold. Compared to that, the 7th corpse, Maria, had died in a much better and cleaner way. At a glance, I could see no external wounds and didn't understand how she'd been killed. But by her mouth were traces of bubbles that she might have spat out, and it looked like a typical death by poisoning that you might see in a TV drama. Wasn't Maria called out to the chapel and given a test? So why was she in the corpse-filled dining hall, lying next to her mother, dead? Even if the cause of death was poison, who gave it to her? Her clothes weren't disturbed at all. It's hard to imagine that she was forcibly pushed down and given an injection of poison. It's probably better to assume that she was given a capsule of poison or something and made to swallow it. But compared to the scattered and violently mutilated corpses in the room, Maria's corpse was too clean. If they had a gun, they only needed to pull the trigger. Is this gonna be a tea time where there's like no actual spoken dialogue? I'm for it. I'm for it. But poisoning just Battler's inner brain thoughts. If they had a gun, they only need to pull the trigger. But poisoning, whether by having her drink it or by an injection, would take a lot more effort. Just Battler playing detective. Considering the culprit's brutal nature, you'd think Maria's death alone was given special treatment. Why was only Maria given a sleep-like death? True, being killed is always a pitiful thing, but for some reason Maria's death alone seemed very courteous to me. Both of Maria's hands were joined on her chest, as though the dead person had put them there herself. Did Maria do that herself before dying? Isn't this usually something done by someone else after the person dies? As though sleeping with her mother, whose head was half crushed, Maria dozed in peace. For some reason, that contrast really bugged me. including the direct cause, it's probably safe to say that Marie's death is shrouded in mystery. And more than anything else, the biggest mystery of this dining hall was the pitfalls. The pitfalls that both Uncle Krause's group and Goto-san's had mentioned. After the first 6 were killed, 5 more fell through pitfalls and were captured. What are pitfalls? How do they work? Those things that suddenly open and you fall through them, right? Wait, he's like, what does the word pitfalls mean? The room had a solid floor with a carpet that looked dignified, if a bit worn out. No matter how you looked at it, it was a single. No matter how you looked at it, it was a single piece. If a pitfall had opened up, there would have to be a seam just in that place, and there had been some trick like a pitfall. Wouldn't it creak when you walked on it? No matter how much I walked around feeling the carpet, I just couldn't imagine that a pitfall was hidden here. If you keep saying the word pitfall, it's gonna sound like it's a fake word. Anyway, it'd be one thing if a single person fell, but a full 5 people did. By putting together everyone's stories, each one of them had fallen from a different location. So at the very least, there had to be 5 separate places with pitfalls. So what does this mean? Was this room actually made with pitfalls across the entire floor? So by pushing a button, you could open up a pitfall in the location of your choice? Some kind of contraption like that? That kind of ridiculous mechanism would be surprising even in a ninja mansion. But if Dad and the rest had heard about this, I wonder if they'd say, I wouldn't put it past Grandfather to do it, to make it. Did I read that right? But if Dad and the rest had heard about this, I wonder if they would say, I wouldn't put it past Grandfather to do it, to make it. To do it, comma, to make it. Sure. Sure. At any rate, I didn't learn anything more from the dining hall. Do the pitfalls not exist? Or do they exist but I just can't find them, amateur that I am? I can't say for sure. Since they claim that the pitfalls were there, I can't ignore them even if I can't find them. The next ones to be killed were Jessica and George Aniki. I discovered George Aniki when I'd been called out for my test. He had been called out to the arbor in the rose garden, and probably shot in the forehead with a gun. Bang! Jessica had been called to her own room on the 2nd floor of the mansion. The door to her room was locked. But that wasn't a problem at all since I had a master key. Oh shit, new, dead. Inside the room, it was horrible. But after the dining hall, I was used to corpses, so I'd built up a bit of immunity. The phone receiver was loose and dangling. Had she been killed when still on the phone with me? Jessica was leaning against the wall next to it, with half of her head split open. Oh, oh, Jessica. Powerful gun or something. She was smashed by her own attack due to George's counter-offensive specialized barrier. That's interesting because we go through most of this like game when like someone dies. It says like the non-magical like, oh, this must have been what it was. But in theory, you could say maybe this isn't a magical thing. Like, now it was a magical thing where how to make them meet. Like their attacks meet, you know? Maybe I'm reading way too much into that. I might just be I'm probably forget what I'm saying. I just found it interesting that instead of like, oh, she must have been hit with a gun or something, it was like it says, oh, she's smashed by her own attack, which is technically what happened. But like in these other cases, I'm not gonna overthink it. She was leaning up against the wall next to it with half of her head split open. As far as I could tell by glancing at the scene, it looked as though she'd been killed while on the phone. In that case, had the culprit been right there before her eyes? I hadn't gotten that impression when listening to Jessica's voice over the phone. I'm pretty sure Jessica said they got me. It's probably best to assume that she'd already received a fatal wound at the time of the phone call. That's right. And she also said this. When you come, Battler, I'll be a corpse with half of its head split open. Yes, that's what she said. From what I could tell by looking at Jessica's corpse, there were no wounds on her other than damage to her head. I know, I was gonna say the same thing. I was like, well, there's the dialogue. It's not technical. He's recounting the dialogue. It's a little different. There were no wounds on her other than the damage to her head. Could she have had an injury serious enough to make her prepared for death and then died halfway through the phone call? But the way she talked on the phone made me think that she'd escaped harm for the time being. You shouldn't be able to have a casual conversation over a phone if the culprit's right before your eyes. So, did the culprit come in part way through the phone call and kill Jessica? No, that can't be right. After all, this room was locked. Wait, that doesn't tell me anything. If the culprit stole a master key from one of the victims, locking the door would be meaningless. But she had no external wounds other than her head. In that case, should I assume that the fatal wound she was prepared to die from and the actual external wound that damaged her head were two different things? And that both of them were made to the same part of the body? In other words, Jessica was struck severely to the head and received an incredibly bad wound. Then she called me, and either lost consciousness or died while on the phone. Then the culprit came and damaged her head again. Something like that. After being called to this room, Jessica was attacked by the culprit and received a serious injury. Then the culprit thought she'd been killed and went away for the time being. But Jessica miraculously started breathing again and called me with what would become her dying message. Then, culprit realized that they'd failed to kill her and rushed back to deliver the final blow after Jessica fell unconscious from massive blood loss. Oh, Battler. Oh, Battler. That seems to add up, more or less. Except for how Jessica was able to accurately predict the nature of that final blow. And there's one more thing that bugged me about the phone call from Jessica. Jessica had said this. George Nissan's done for too. That was an instant death. She said almost as though she'd witnessed George and Iki being killed. But while you certainly could see the rose garden from the window in Jessica's room, and you could even see the roof of the arbor where George and Iki had been summoned, it was very far away. Add on the fact that it was the night of a typhoon, it's very hard to imagine that she was able to witness everything that happened by the arbor from this window. And more than anything else, Jessica left before George and Iki. So she shouldn't have known that George and Iki's test took place by the arbor. Why did Jessica know that George and Iki had been killed? Also, during my search of the entire mansion, I found Kairi-san's corpse as well. Not Kairi! Say it ain't so. Guest room deep within the mansion. There was a single hole right in the center of her forehead. Probably reasonable to assume she was shot with a gun. Demon stake was buried in the hole in her forehead, but it's hard to imagine that this was the cause of death. I missed on purpose to tease her. Nyeh. Nyeh. It was in one of the old guest rooms at the back of the first floor. Remember Kairi's last stand here? She was like dodging the shots and everything. She was like, as she's like on the phone. She was just being a badass like she is, you know? Oh, my girl Kairi. In the past, before the construction of the guest house, the relatives had spent the night in these. Kairi-san's situation matched Jessica's perfectly. She'd probably been killed during her phone call with me. The receiver was hanging untidily, And Kairi-san lay crumpled in that corner. But the way she had been killed was very different from Jessica. Her head wasn't smashed. Instead, a stake with an occult design was buried into her forehead. It was so gruesome, so I pulled it out. After pulling it, I realized this might get me into trouble with the police later. So, a little too late, I sat down by Kairi-san's side. I know, for real! God, so much disrespect for Kairi. Its tip was sharp and stained with blood enough blood that it must have penetrated fully to the brain. I didn't know what kind of metal it was made of, but it was about as heavy as a paperweight. Certainly, if you were stabbed all out with something like this, it might cause a terrible wound. I probably knew what that stake meant. It's one of those. The style of killing from the fourth twilight onwards in the witch's epitaph. It's probably that gouge with a stake and kill thing. However, a human skull is very firm. No matter how much someone mustered their strength, could it really have been pierced so neatly? No. By my reasoning, the stake wasn't the cause of death, but had just been used to damage the corpse after death. She was probably killed with a gun or something like George Aniki. And the stake had been stuck into the hole left by the gun. Thinking of it that way makes it easier to accept. But was Kairi-san really killed with a gun? As she said on the phone, even though she was holed up inside a locked room, Kairi-san was being attacked. How does Battler know this? I don't think I'm in. How does he know what was happening to Kairi? Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Wait, how does he know that? I mean, I don't know. Yeah, dude, there's so many people these days that are like so into like crime dramas, crime podcasts and shit. Serial killer type stuff. I would not be surprised. I mean, I know this is obviously in a different time period, but like people these days know probably too much about ways that you wouldn't be able to kill someone. You ask the average person on the street and you go, hey, could you penetrate someone's skull with something? And be like, no, people's skulls are very firm. You would not be able to drive a stake through it. And you'd be like, okay. Oh yeah, he does read mystery novels too. That's a good point. Mystery novels were crime podcasts before podcasts were a thing. It's just a true fact. The written word, books before podcasts were a thing. In fact, this room had been locked. Also, she mentioned a golden thread or something flying in and attacking her. In fact, there were 4 places around Kairi-san's corpse with holes that could have been caused by some kind of attack. But a golden thread attacked her. Through the keyhole? I looked at the door from Kairi-san's perspective. If it had been one of those old keyholes you see in old mystery movies, where you can peek through to the other side, then it would have clearly been possible to stick something through it. But even though the doors in this mansion were old-fashioned, locks were the familiar average cylinder style that you could find in any normal house. In other words, they weren't constructed in a way that would let you penetrate through them. So no matter how thin an object you might try to stick through the keyhole, it's unthinkable that something penetrated through from the outside and attacked. A cylinder lock and a keyhole. But despite that, Kairi-san definitely said that something like a golden thread had flown in through the keyhole, spun around while aiming for her, and attacked her. A golden thread attacking through a keyhole. Couldn't understand what it meant at all. But even so, Kairi-san probably predicted that I wouldn't be able to understand all this. And it wasn't just Kairi-san. Jessica said it over the phone too. No, since the very beginning, from the time we talked with Goto-san and Kumasawa-san and got the phone call from Uncle Krause's group, everyone had said the same consistent thing. Grandfather summoned witches and demons and is killing people with magic. They'd been shown the right shown that right before their eyes. These weren't tricks or fakes. There was no choice but to believe it. With one voice, they all had said that. When the mystery woman calling herself Beatrice appeared, even I had pretty much believed that she was a real witch and might start summoning goat monsters right and left. However, after being left alone for a whole day, my feeling of tension had faded completely. I was now able to think that something so stupid definitely couldn't be true. Did they lose their heads a little in an extraordinary situation where their lives were now exposed? Did they lose their heads a little in an extraordinary situation where their lives were exposed to danger, and mistakenly think that a witch was attacking them with magic? But multiple people give the same kind of testimony, and on top of that, none of their opinions conflicted with each other. If it had just been a single statement, I'd be able to suspect that they just didn't see what they thought they saw. But doing that now is pretty difficult. Then, right next to the back door, I found Uncle Kraus with his head half smashed. Oh, Uncle Kraus. Half his head was destroyed with a gun or something. Demon stake was buried in damaged area. No one can escape from the Chester's golden arrows. Even though he escaped the dungeon of Koadorian and somehow made it this far by a secret underground passage, he had been killed. The goat coon. Buried into the gruesome cross-section of his half-crushed head was a stake with an occult design like the one that had been buried into Kairi-san's forehead. And in this situation, it's very hard to imagine that the stake was the weapon used. He had been killed with a powerful gun like the six in the dining hall, and after death had been jabbed with a stake like Kairi-san. I wonder if the golden threads that Kairi-san spoke of attacked Uncle Kraus too. Does there exist some kind of tool, like an endoscope, that's very thin but can be moved around at will? And that can also attack people? No way. I've never heard of anything like that. But even so, if this fact had been revealed to one of the relatives, maybe they'd say I wouldn't put it past grandfather to make it. Since I can't deny the existence of Golden Thread X that can be moved at will and attack people, I can either accept that this mysterious weapon exists, or else I'll have to accept that this was a murder committed with magic. To find the next corpse, I had to go out through the back door and search around outside a bit. This is a terrible tea party, I gotta say. Behind the mansion, in the wild-grown bushes that were almost swallowed up by the forest, there was something like an old well. And right next to it were Dr. Nanjo and Shannon-chan's. Oh no. Nanjo! Oh. Probably could have just... Powerful gun. Demon stake had fallen near the body. The Giga Chat. Both corpses had their heads smashed, and though they weren't stuck in, there were stakes lying right next to each damaged head. Each corpse was atrocious, but having to look directly at Shan-chan's lovely face. Oh, her lovely face. What about Nanjo's lovely face, huh? Which had been half blown away. It was very painful. Then, there was the well. I'd heard that inside it was a secret underground passage to the mysterious mansion, Koadorian. By this time, I began to think that Beatrice and her accomplices might have used this underground passage and left for Koadorian. Even though there had apparently been at least 10 of them, I hadn't seen a trace of anyone. It seemed very likely that they'd almost escaped to a different location. There's the typhoon. They can't go out to sea. It goes the same for the forest. There's no way they could traverse such a deep, uncultivated forest on foot. In that case, they had only one place to go. The mysterious hidden mansion Koadorian. The secret underground passage at the bottom of the well, or through. By this time, I had entirely lost my fear of being killed if I happened to come across the enemy. Don't fuck with me. This time I'll storm into your mansion. Oh, here we go. What the hell? Damn it. The old well had a firm cover on it. The cover was an iron grill. Gaps between the bars were perhaps 20 centimeters across. You could peer inside, but it really wasn't something a human could pass through. If I had known better, I wouldn't have thought it anything more than a simple cover to prevent falls. But from what Kairi-san had told me, I knew its purpose was to prevent intruders from entering the secret underground passage in its depths. But the cover was extremely firm and rigid, and no matter how much I pushed or pulled, couldn't even get close to opening it. I couldn't find an obvious lock. It might be sealed by some mechanism, but no matter how much I investigated it, couldn't find anything to release it. The biggest piece of information Kairi-san had tried to give me, gambling our final moments, was the underground passage in this well. Exclamation point. I need water. Alright, don't think I'll be stopped by something like this cover. I'll smash it to bits. I'll search for a tool. I had an idea. After all, I'd seen the various tools in the gardening shed when we locked Goto-san and Kumasawa-san in there. I was gonna make some joke about Battler being a big tool. But that's mean to our protagonist here. But the shutter to the guarding shed was locked. On top of that, the key was with Goto-san, who was dead on the inside. In other words, this guarding shed was a closed room. There's no way to open it from the outside. In that case, I've got to break the shutter. There has to be a tool for that somewhere. Kind of feels like I'm going in circles here. Then, while searching for that, I learned that the source of the stench that had permeated the mansion this whole time was the underground boiler room. The boiler room was dimly lit, humid, smelled horrible, and on top of all that was incredibly creepy. It's been a while since we've been to the boiler room, hasn't it? But there were several large tools there, and I managed to find a fire hatchet and some massive wire cutters. And grandfather's corpse. Ah. The one who was set ablaze. Ah. So I just found a burnt corpse in the underground boiler room's incinerator. No evidence of a struggle. Yeah, I don't think we've been here in this episode. I was thinking like back when it was like, what was it? Fucking Canon. Was this episode 1 where Canon was like, I'm going down that hallway or whatever, and then just died? No evidence of struggle. Probably reasonable to assume is burned after his murder. Dust to dust, ash to ashes. The dead to the dead. No. Strictly speaking, I should probably say that I found a burnt corpse of a person who was probably grandfather. Someone's corpse had been stuffed into the blazing fires of the boiler. However, by coincidence, I was able to notice the number of toes on the... Oh, it's the toes on the corpse. Both feet had 6 toes. That's right. I think I heard it from Dad from some time long ago. Something about grandfather having polydactyl with extra toes. According to old Ishiromiya family tradition, it seems that those with extra fingers or toes had some sort of good fortune and were treated as good omen. And because of that, grandfather was selected to be the successor or something. Yep, and I still feel that way. I still feel weird. But I wonder if I can be certain that this is grandfather's body just from the number of toes. After all, grandfather was supposed to be the leader of the group of culprits. I didn't have a clue why he'd get stuffed into a boiler in a place like this and die. A mysterious corpse, burning and spitting out a terrible stench amid the flames. If it really was grandfather, would that mean that the leader of the group of culprits wasn't grandfather, but that Beatrice after all? Grandfather was used because he was convenient, and was then thrown away? Unfortunately, it didn't look like I'd been given a chance to hear grandfather's side of the story. Now that I obtained a tool, I thought about rushing to take on the cover to the well, but I decided to break the shutter to the guarding shed first. I had plenty of time to kill anyway. I figured I should check on the condition of Goto-san and Kumasawa-san's corpses. I was like, what is he? I hit the shutter with a hatchet, breaking into it. Stuck the wire cutter into the crack and scissored it around, opening up the hole. Then, I faced Goto-san and Kumasawa-san's corpses once more. Let's take a look. Corpse found, assuming that she was hung by the neck after being shot in the forehead. As long as I could construct a closed room murder, nothing else mattered. They put ropes around their own necks. That could be a pretty interesting experience now and then. Damn. As a result, I learned a new fact. First, they had not died by being hung by the neck. Both of their feet were solidly on the floor, and on both their foreheads were signs that they'd been shot with a gun. The loop seemed longer than a normal noose. On top of that, the length was different on each to match the height of each person. In other words, the lengths had been adjusted so that both Goto-san, who was tall, and Kumasawa-san, who was short, had their feet solidly but barely on the ground. Also, while the ropes carried both their weights as their heads lolled, both of them had been some slack below their knees. This meant that if they'd stood up with those loops around their necks, there would have been some extra length. In other words, these loops wouldn't have been that great for hanging people. The direct cause of death was probably a shot to the head. It was gruesome. Their insides were still dripping out from those gaping holes, staining their faces a deep red. It's probably best to assume that they were then hung, pulled up, and left exposed like that. If they'd been shot with a gun, they would probably have been lying down on the floor. If that had been the case, you wouldn't have been able to tell they were dead even if you peeked through the window. The amount of stuff would have gotten in the way, so if they'd been lying down, they would have been hidden. To make the deaths of these two known to the rest of us who couldn't go inside, they would have had to hang them like this, making it invisible from the outside. Was this done to get back at us for thinking that those two would surely be safe if we left the key with them? I wonder where the shutter key we gave Goto-san, which should have ensured their safety, is now. That key was in the pocket of his trousers. The gardening shed key had been kindly left there, and even the plate was attached. In other words, the gardening shed had been a closed room after all. And that gave rise to another question. Because this can't be explained by a hanging. If they didn't commit suicide, then those nooses were set up by the culprit. It might have been possible to shoot them through the window, but it's really unthinkable that someone could have tied two loops to the beam from the outside. And furthermore, there's no way they could have lifted up the heavy corpses. In other words, to do all this, they would have had to go inside. But the key was in Goto-san's pocket, and the shutter had been locked. In other words, the gardening shed had been a closed room. I feel like I said "in other words" like 10 times in the last 2 minutes. Goto-san had said that there was only one key to the shutter. But is it possible that there was a copy? And that the culprit was in possession of it? If we're allowed to theorize that there actually was a duplicate of the gardening storehouse key, if Goto-san just didn't know about it, then this isn't even close to a closed room. Why is it that, despite the fact that almost all the other corpses were shot to death and left almost completely alone, just these two corpses were intentionally hoisted up? Couldn't help but feel something a bit odd about that. After this, if we assume that the mystery corpse in the boiler was grandfather's, the deaths of 16 people have been confirmed. There are 18 people on this island. I'm here, and there are 16 corpses. Kenny-kun's corpse is the only one I haven't been able to confirm. According to Kairi-san, he had been killed while climbing out of the well and had fallen down into it. So with the well closed up like this, it's impossible to check. I tried shining a flashlight through the bars down into the darkness in the depths of the well. But it seemed that the jet black darkness had no intentions of showing me its depths with a light of that level. It looked like I'd have to break the bars after all. Using the hatchets and things I've dragged from the boiler room and the gardening shed, I tried breaking the cover of the well. But the metal bars were extraordinarily sturdy, and breaking them wasn't easy. I hit them with the hatchet over and over, till my hands started feeling weird, eventually gave up on breaking them. It's impossible. If they were at least wood, I might have been able to break them. But this metal... That's right. There's no way you can slice through metal bars like butter with a human strength. I can't even begin to understand that story about how Kenny-kun cut through metal bars. I heard that a light, like a red laser beam, grew out of his arm, and that he sliced through the metal bars like he was cutting through butter. Cutting through metal bars like butter? And what's with the red laser beam? Does that mean he secretly had a burner on him or something? And used that to burn through the bars? Still, just what kind of laser could cut through metal bars like butter? It almost sounds like the kind of laser beam you'd find in those robot anime I loved as a kid, didn't it? Does something like that actually exist? And how did Kenny-kun get that laser beam? No matter how much I want to ask him, he's already been killed. Plus, even his corpse is now in the depths of the well, beyond this cover. If Kenny-kun could slice through metal bars, I'm sure he could handle this metal cover in a single swing. It feels just like the closed room Goto-san was locked in while holding the key. Only one person can open the door, but they're locked inside. If only I had that power of Kenny-kun's, be able to do something about this cover myself. Just who is Kenny-kun? Couldn't really be a non-human being capable of using a strange power, right? Kaoru-san told me to believe in witches, and I even met an insane woman calling herself one. Could Kenny-kun possibly be a human on the witch's side? Or else the culprit? What the heck? Am I gonna start treating him like the culprit just because I can't find his corpse? Huh? Treating him like the culprit because there's no corpse. And who is the one babbling about the suspicious being innocent? Very well. Couldn't bear having you push all the crimes on Canon and building a human culprit theory that way. I'll guarantee it with the red. Canon is dead. As if I was like holding out hope that maybe he's still alive. Not able to find the corpse. No matter how he's killed with magic, without a corpse, he's a definite suspect. Now that's definitely anti-fantasy. Therefore, I guarantee his death with the red truth. Now that's definitely anti-mystery. Okay. Among the 5 people in Kairi's group, he was the first to die. In short, he was the 9th victim. Thanks, Beatrice. Since there's no corpse, can't say for sure. That Kenny-kun is dead. So, my whispering in red does not reach the Pisu. But it did reach you, right? Me? Is Beato speaking to me? No, only in my dreams. At a glance, this was a mass murder due to something strange that could only be thought of as magic. Golden threads that attacked through keyholes. No, we even have testimony that something gold flew around the dining hall when the first 6 died. The 2 might have been the same weapon. Then there was a closed room murder of the garden shed and the laser beam that could cut metal bars. And that wasn't all. There was much, much more, like the group of goat monsters, the story of which could create pitfalls just by snapping her fingers, the rabbit-like demons who had fired golden threads. I think there was more, but each part was all screwed up. I couldn't possibly accept it. I was forced to suspect that it was some kind of trick or mistake. But why in the world had everyone spoken with one voice, saying the same thing without contradictions in their testimony? It's not only the magic. There's Maria's mysterious death. Why Jessica knew that George Niki had been killed. The mysterious burnt corpse that I couldn't confirm really belonged to that damn geezer. And more, and more. All stuff I don't get. I tilted the wine bottle up and gulped. I don't have a clue what's going on. Battler. Sounds like a me. After dinner last night, the kids were chased out and told to go back to the guest house. And then there was a massacre in the dining hall. Kairi-san and the rest were dropped through pitfalls and captured. Then, Jessica and George Niki were called out to take a test or whatever and killed. Even though Kairi-san's group was able to escape the dungeon somehow, all of them got killed in the end. At the very, very end, even Maria was killed, leaving me all alone. In short, I did nothing except stay locked up in the guest house. During that time, a huge incident occurred and ended. What can I call it except incomprehensible? I don't have a clue anymore. Now I'm nothing but a drunk. You plan on leaving only me alive? Show yourself right away and come to kill me already. It's too much of a pain, so I won't search for you. Wait, was the red text at the end of chapter 4 proper? Was that battler saying, just kill me. Just kill me. At least that's where my brain immediately went. It's too much of a pain, so I won't search for you. You show me your true form yourself. I won't run or hide, so come at me with arrows or bullets or whatever. I haven't gotten any sleep since yesterday, so I'm incredibly sleepy. You want to kill me? Go ahead. I decided to return to the guest house and boldly rest in a bed. When I exited the kitchen and passed through the lobby, that portrait of the witch came into view. The big clock did too. It was almost exactly midnight. And then, the sound of the bell rang out, proclaiming that midnight had arrived. As I listened, I looked up at Beatrice's portrait. Exactly 24 hours ago, I met you. What were you trying to say? And where did you go? I miss you so. Just who in the world are you? Golden Witch, Beatrice. I haven't solved a single one of the riddles surrounding you. Show yourself, and fight me. Fight me. Yeah, I know, that sounds hellish. Like, it sounds like the type of thing where, like, you're probably just so mentally and emotionally and physically tired, but just because you're in that situation, like, your body's just refusing to, like, actually, fall asleep. Like, it's just forcing you to stay awake. Sounds really bad. Then, the witch showed herself. Like a guest of honor, finally appearing, she showed herself on the landing at the top of the big staircase. Huh? Here she comes. Oh, here we go. Hey, they have the mansion to themselves now. If there was ever a time for them to just, like, go into a room privately and just, I don't know, talk about magic, now would be the time. So, you finally show yourself. I've been kept bored for a whole day. Correct. I gave you a whole day. Was that enough for you to fully exercise the rights of the human side? Yeah. I was bored after all. I did a heck of a lot of it. Angie was a good piece. Don't you speak Angie's name. She appeared through a miracle, sacrificed herself, and gave you the tenacity required for certain victory. Don't you speak Angie's name. That brutal death was something you needed. If you hadn't seen that death, you wouldn't have grown serious. Without the wake-up call of Angie's ill-fated future, your tenacity for victory would not have been born. For a third fucking time, I told you not to speak Angie's name. In short, she was a necessary sacrifice. Otherwise, an anger great enough to kill me would not have been born in you. The rivalry between us cannot be destroyed. Damn you, Lady Berncastel. It's more fitting to call that a trump card than a piece. No matter how much a piece acts, it does not stray from the board. But no matter how much a power trump card wields, it is always thrown away after it is used. Angie was truly a good trump card for you. Don't you speak Angie's name! At Battler's angry roar, Beato finally stopped talking. You know, I don't have time to play around in a place like this anymore. Even a tie will keep Angie waiting. So, I'll break through you, take my family, and go back home. I won't waste a second playing witch games with you. In that case, what should you do? You know, don't you? Yeah! I'll beat you down. I'll blast away all witches, magic, illusions, and delusions. Come on, let's get started. I won't let you trick me again. Resume the game, okay? I'll tear apart the witch's veil, concealing the outright lie you are. You talk too much. All you have to do is honestly say, I'll kill you. Yeah. If those are the words you want, I'll say them. This is the first and last wish of yours that I'll lend an ear to. I thank you. I'll kill you.
ならばよし。
Very well.
始めようぞバトラ。
Let us begin, battler.
さあ、魔女狩りの時間だ。
Yes. The time for the witch hunt has come.
わらわを追ってみろ。追い詰めてみろ。殺してみろ。わらわはそなたに期待している。
Try and chase me. Try and corner me. Try and kill me. Expect a lot from you.
妹の最後がそなたに何を与えたのか。それをわらわに見せてみよ。
Try and show me what your little sister gave you in her last moments. Bring it on! Thump. Battler's cry burned the world with a white light. And, if you opened your eyes amidst the darkness, two of them could be seen in a rose garden. Whoa. Whoa.
先手はどちらから。
Who shall make the first move?
俺だ。
Me.
潔し。
How bold! In the rose garden, beautiful rose petals danced. What a scene! The color of those rose petals was red. Did the fact that they faced each other in this beautiful rose garden prove or make claim to a red single truth? That must be why the roses are red. But in the language of flowers, roses represent passion, not truth. The flower for truth is a forget-me-not. And that flower is blue.
俺の青き真実で全てをうがつ。
I'll bore through everything with my blue truth.
全てを一番最初から。
From the very beginning of everything. I know this one's kind of going hard right now.
一番最初のゲームから始めるぜ。
Oh no. I'll start from the very first game. I definitely remember everything that was happening in the first game.
よかろ
Very well.
う。そなたのお手並みを拝見しよ
Let's see what you've got.
う。来い。
Come.
行くぜ。
Here I go.
すでに宣言済みだが、もう一度言う。
I've already proclaimed it, but I'll say it again.
こいつは前回のゲームの南條先生の殺人だけじゃないぜ。
This isn't just for the murder of Dr. Nanjo in the last game.
一番最初からあらゆるゲームのあらゆる場面を切り裂ける。
This will tear apart every scene from every game since the beginning.
後宮金蔵はすでに死亡している。
Ishiromiya Kinzo is already dead,
よって島の本当の人数は17人。
so the true number of people on the island is 17.
そこに未知の人物 X が加わることで18人となっている。
By adding in an unknown person X, that makes 18 people.
この人物 X の存在の過程によって17人全員にアリバイがあっても犯行は可能になる。
By supposing the existence of this person X, crime is possible even if all 17 people have alibis.
これにより人間の数18人を満たしつつにもかかわらず意見18人全員にアリバイがあっても犯人 X の存在と犯行は可能になる。
By this, even though the number of people reaches 18, it's still possible for culprit X to exist and carry out crimes, even if all 18 people seem to have alibis. You can break through all the murders in episode 1 by supposing an unknown person X. Furthermore, it's even possible to explain the mystery of Kinzo's evaporation from the closed room sealed by the receipt, by making the bold assumption that Kinzo wasn't there in the first place. Unless Bieto counters this with the red truth, the illusion of the witch from episode 1 has been completely smashed. This blue truth is valid. The wedge of blue truth that Battler had thrown stabbed right through the top of Bieto's left foot. Oh, we're getting physical. Oh shit. There's red blood pouring out from there? A protest being made by her red truth? Bieto shut one of her eyes tight, enduring the unbearable pain of the blue truth that denied her.
悪く
Not bad.
ない。だがまだまだわらわは否定されてはおらぬ。
But I mustn't be...
脅されてはおらぬ。
Don't start this with me, Beatrice. But I mustn't be denied yet. I mustn't be killed yet.
この程度は足りぬ。
This is not yet enough.
続くゲームで それだけで説明できる謎がある。
In the subsequent games, there were mysteries that couldn't be explained with that alone, right?
どの謎だ？
Which mysteries?
第2のゲームの終盤、
In the final stages of the second game,
ジョージがゴーダとシャノンを引き連れ、夏日の部屋に立てこもり殺された。
I like how this music is like incorporating some familiar parts from like other tracks we've heard. In the final stages of the second game, George took Goda and Shannon with him, barricaded them in Natsui's room, and was killed.
夏日の部屋を解除した鍵は室内に閉じ込められ、残るすべての解除可能な鍵はローザの手にある。
The key to unlock Natsui's room was locked up inside the room, and all the remaining keys that could unlock the door were in Rosa's hand.
犯人 X が存在しようと密室構築は不可能なはず。
Even if a culprit X existed, it should have been impossible to construct that closed room. The blue wedge that pierced Beato shook. She was resisting, fighting to pull it out.
いや、俺の青き真実は揺るがない。
No, that doesn't shake my blue truth.
犯人 X がマスターキーを入手していれば、あれは密室でも何でもないんだ。
If culprit X were to obtain a master key, it's not even close to a closed room.
いや、入手は不可能。
No, it was impossible for the culprit to obtain one.
マスターキーすべてはローザが管理した。
All of the master keys were under Rose's control.
だが、ローザおばさんが共犯であったなら何の意味もない。
But that's meaningless if Aunt Rosa was a culprit.
ローザおばさん、犯人 X に何らかの方法で鍵を渡し、密室殺人を幇助した。
Aunt Rosa handed a key over to culprit X by some method, assisting in the closed room murder.
そしてその後、同様の方法で鍵を回収したんだ。
And after that, she retrieved the key by a similar method.
甘いぜ、ベアト。
Too naive, Beato.
こんなのは当時の俺もすでに推理している。
I'd already guessed that much at the time.
そうであったな。
Yes, you did, didn't you? God. The wedge that had been gradually losing its sparkle and had seemed as though it was about to be pulled out, regained its strong blue again thanks to Balor's additional blue truth and dug into Beato again, eating into her foot. Beato let out a cry of anguish at that pain. Not yet.
まだ答え
This is still nothing.
の。まだ
Not yet.
まだだ。
Not yet.
さらに続けて第3のゲームだ。
On to the third game.
6連結の連鎖密室。ローザおばさんとマリアの殺人、親父たちのホールでの死亡、クラウスおじさんと夏日おばさんの殺人。
The six linked closed rooms. The murders of Aunt Rosa and Maria, Dad and the rest's deaths in the hall, the murders of Uncle Kraus and Aunt Natsui.
エヴァおばさんを犯人に仮定することで説明可能だ。
All of that can be explained if we suppose that Aunt Eva was the culprit.
これは当時すでに論破済み。
This argument was already won back then.
それに対し、お前がエヴァを通して出題してきた最後の難題。
And even that final riddle you proposed through Eva?
南條先生殺し。18人目の未知の人物 X で説明可能。
The murder of Dr. Nanjo can be explained with an 18th unknown person X.
これで第3のゲームまで全て打ち破ったぞ。
That breaks through the whole
反応
third.
はあるか。
That breaks through the whole third game. Can you counter that?
無論
Of course.
この程度答えはせぬ。
This much is nothing to worry about.
ならばゲストハウスからのジョージの失踪はどう説明するというのか。
In that case, how do you explain George's disappearance from the guest house?
赤き真実を追加し、
I shall add to the red truth.
ジョージはゲストハウスの階段を降りてはおらぬ。
George did not go down the stairs of the guest house.
窓から飛び去ったの。
He flew out through the window. In the final stage of the third game, George suddenly vanished from the second floor of the guest house. Eva, who had been on the first floor, claimed that no one had come downstairs. But because of the blue truth, George could have snuck down on the first floor and escaped while Eva was busy carrying Krause's and Natsui's corpses outside. But by adding an additional red truth, Beato had denied that possibility. To go outside without going down the staircase to the first floor, he would have had to leave by the window. But all the windows had been locked from the inside.
だからなんだ
So what?
お前の言葉通りだぞ
It's just like you said.
窓から飛び去ったんだろ
He flew out the window, right?
下へ飛び降りても芝生じゃわからないしあの大雨だ
There was a lawn, so we couldn't tell if he jumped down. It was raining so hard.
多少の痕跡なんて消えちまう
Any light traces would have disappeared.
赤き真実を繰り返す。
I'll use the red truth again.
外部へ通ずる窓も扉もすべて内側より施錠されていた。
All windows and doors leading to the outside were locked from the inside.
しかもそれらの施錠はすべて外側からは不可能。
Furthermore, it is impossible to lock any of those from the outside.
ジョージには施錠する術はない。
George had no technique by which to lock them.
青き真実を繰り返す
I'll use more of the blue.
当時の俺も言っているぜ
I said it myself at the time.
ならばジョージの兄貴が窓より脱出後誰かがそれを施錠すればいい
In that case, everything works out as long as someone locked the window after George and Iki escaped through it.
何も難しいことはない
Nothing difficult about that. Can I not? Oh, excuse me. Can I not escape after something like this? Beato couldn't remove the blue wedge that was buried into her foot. The fake witch was burned more and more by that forceful blue.
第3のゲームまでの全てにおいて青き真実は未だ揺るがない
There's still nothing that shakes my blue truth in any of the first 3 games. Why did I... Why did I just have a vision pop into my head? Why? Okay. Mute the game for a second. As I just... Okay. For some reason, you have me so fucking tripped up now about the boat thing, the boat scene where where Angie said she saw something. And then for some reason as Battler and and it's funny because I muted the game on your end, but I can still hear it. So we were told, I don't know why I'm thinking of this all of a sudden, but let me know if I'm right or wrong here. What if the reason to bring back people from the dead, or from the dead might be a weird term, but to resurrect someone, they needed a vessel, right? Was the whole point then that Angie was able to find the vessel, and for some reason, some kind of vessel was there at the boat place? And so she was able to, like, so she found the vessel for Sakataru, and that's how she was able to resurrect Sakataru. So I am right. Why am I just now thinking of that? What does that mean, though? That for some reason Sakataru was at the boat thing. Am I missing just one link, then? Am I missing just one crucial link? What does that prove? What does it show, Austin? Think, Austin, think. I'll bring back the music. What does it think? What does it mean? Sakataro's vessel was at the boat thing. What does that mean? I'm just breaking this moment between Battler and fucking Beatrice to figure this out. What does it mean? It means the vessel, the Sakataro was taken to the boat thing before they got to the island? Because if it's at the boat thing, then that would have been that it was there right before they then went to Rokenjima? Or... I'm not being cynical enough? What? I'm not being cynical enough. I'm thinking. My brain is just thinking right now. Is it a timeline type thing? Am I supposed to be thinking in the fact that because... Is it a matter of... If the vessel is there, then it couldn't have been at another place at a different time? Maybe in like 24 more hours. Maybe just thinking about it, maybe I'll finally piece it together. Fuck! I can't just not sit on progressing the game. But damn. I don't know why my brain immediately... I think my brain like snapped into it. For some reason, again, when it brought up back Fake Witch again. And so I immediately was like, Fake Witch, and then I like snapped like fucking, what is it, Jimmy Neutron Brain Blast moment type thing? That was really weird how that came. Like, you heard, I just, like, froze up. Beatrice, with the red, she had said something about, like, you couldn't use magic. Are you saying that part? Where she was like, oh, can't use magic I can't use here. Has something to do with that? Sakataro's amazing plush that Rosa made for Maria, the only... Oh, she choked because she couldn't get it out with the red... She couldn't get it out with the red truth. Sakataro's the amazing plush. So there's more than one Sakataro plush? Or more than one Sakataro in general? Rosa wasn't the only one that made one? Rosa. There are multiple Sakataro plushes? There's more than one Sakataro? Oh no, my worst nightmare. That maybe Rosa maybe made multiple? Or I guess someone, or Sakataro wasn't unique. Oh, is it maybe she didn't even make it? Was it maybe a lie? I forget how did Rosa introduce Sakataro? Didn't she say she made it, but maybe that was a lie? And maybe it was just purchased and bought. Interesting. Interesting. God, it's like fucking pulling teeth in these sometimes, isn't it? A possibility, but you're saying it's open-ended. There's not a definitive answer at that point, but the thing we can conclude is that there's most likely at least more than one Sakataro. And because of that, Angie was able to find the second one at that boat shop for whatever fucking reason. And then because she had that second one and found that, then she was able to use it as a vessel to resurrect a Sakataro. Also, I apologize for the diversion in this. What should have been this epic moment between between Battler and Beatrice. I'm still hung up on something that happened streams ago. But that's just how. And then she couldn't tell Maria. Yeah, okay. That actually makes a lot more sense. Well, it makes sense. Not more sense, it makes sense. God, I'm sorry. Okay. There's still nothing that shakes my blue truth in any of the first 3 games. Again, another real good reason I don't use face cam, because when I got to that sentence, and then the way my face froze when I scrolled to the next thing, and I just like was like, wait a second. My face probably looked so dumb as I just like froze in an instant. Rosa sucks as a conclusion. Yeah, but like, and I know that makes sense and that reinforces it, but that's exactly that. It's a reinforcement. We all know Rosa sucks ass. We're just adding fuel to the fire of Rosa sucking ass, you know? In that case, the only game that can prove you're a witch is this game, the 4th game. Since I have encountered you with red, that is so. I shall have to prove witches using only this game. Very well. Give me everything you've got. There's nothing strange about the murder of the 6 people in the dining hall. The 18th person, X, went wild with a gun and killed everyone. As for the pitfalls, there's a chance that pitfalls truly were hidden there. And it's possible to explain it using Kairi-san's theory, supposing that poison dart shooting device X, which can knock a person out instantly, exists. The murders of George and Nikki, Jessica, and those who escaped from the dungeon can also be explained with guns, just like the dining hall. Man, Beatrice is I think it's been brought up by Beatrice earlier in this, where she was like, well, you know what, the only reason I've been able to be countered so often is because I was using the red text all willy-nilly. So her being like having this 4th game where she has not said any red text stuff really does put her on like slightly more like equal footing with Battle here in this fight. I wonder what she'll counter with. There's nothing strange about it. But I'm sure you've got a counterattack, right? Bring it on. Your greatest sword, this 18th person X, is based on the theory that Kinzo was already dead. I knew you would make that claim. That's why I took Kinzo out of his study. So wait, so was there a little tiny Sakatara doll somewhere in the background image of that scene somewhere? Could I have really found a little Sakatara doll somewhere? Like an I Spy game? He was just chilling somewhere. Just find the Sakatara. All members in the family conference welcome that Kinzo, right? All those who met at the family conference acknowledged the presence of Kinzo. That's right. But grandfather was seriously ill, bedridden on the verge of life and death, right?
やつれてて別人に見えちまっても
Oh, okay.
みんな気にしないかもな
If he was so worn out that he looked like a different person, maybe no one would have cared, right?
俺はこう返す
I'll counter with this.
そのじいさま別人の替え玉だ
That grandfather was a different person, a body double.
親族たちがじいさまと見間違えた別人だ
A different person the relatives mistook for grandfather. Oh shit. Oh no, it's the body double theory. Goldsmith. Goldsmith isn't really Kinzo, and that's why he's got those weird eyes.
ならばわらわはこう返す
Then I'll counter with this.
すべての人物は後宮金蔵を見間違わない
No person would mistake Yoshiromiya Kinzo by sight. Oh, let me see this. It's on the left here. Enhance image. I'm looking. Here, I'm going actually second screen experience. Let me do this. Somewhere on the left, you say? It's on the left? I'm looking. I'm peeping. I'm looking. It's not like behind the text box or anything, is it? The thing inside this, like this bag? The very left? Oh, okay. Fair enough. Let's go back to this. Waiting. Okay, I think I know what you mean. I think I see it, what you're talking about now. There it is. I was like, where's the game? Bring it back up. Okay. Then I'll counter with this. No person would mistake Yoshiromiya Kinzo by sight.
いかなる転送であったとしても後宮金蔵を見間違わない
And no matter what disguise might be used, they would not mistake Yoshiromiya Kinzo by sight.
ならばこう返す
Then I'll use this.
お前は第一のゲーム時では5本以上存在することになっていたマスターキーの本数を第2のゲーム時に赤き真実で5本と宣言することで
In the second game, when you announced with the red truth that there were 5 master keys, even though there could have been more than 5 in the first game,
以後のゲームの設定変更を行っている
you changed the premises of the later games.
同じことで第4のゲームにおいて金蔵の生死の設定が変更されている可能性がある
So, it's possible that Kinzo's life or death status was changed for the 4th game alone.
よって第4のゲームの金蔵の存在をもってそれ以前のゲームでの金蔵の存在を証明することにはならない
Therefore, Kinzo's presence in the 4th game doesn't serve as proof that he was present in the previous games.
よって食堂での6人殺しはじい様が自ら執行したと仮定しても何の矛盾も生じない
Therefore, even if we suppose that the 6 murders in the dining hall was carried out by grandfather, contradicts nothing.
ならばこう返そう
Then let me counter this way.
4つのゲーム開始時の金蔵の静止設定は全て同一である
Kinzo's life or death status is the same at the start of all 4 games.
第4のゲームのみ設定が異なることはない
The setup was not different for the 4th game alone.
復唱要求
Repeat it!
各ゲームの開始時に金蔵は生存している
Kinzo was alive at the start time of every game.
渉拒否
Oh shit. I was literally gonna say, okay. I was gonna say the same thing before he said it. I was like, okay, she's saying that the status, his life or death status, was the same at the start of each game. Alright, well then just confirm. He was alive. She's like, I refuse to repeat it.
答えぬよバトル
I won't answer, battler.
わらわはそなたに望まれて赤き真実を答えはせぬ
I won't give you the red truth you so desire.
くそじじいね俺の前に立ちふさがりやがる
Damn, you're standing in my way, geezer.
我が最愛の魔女ベアトリーチェを守るために体を張ってやがるってのか
Are you putting yourself on the line to protect Beatrice, this most beloved witch of yours? Whoa, swaying! That damn geezer came into view. Huh. Is he trying to be some kind of knight blocking the path between me and Beato?
バトラーよ
Battler!
お前にこのわしが超えられるかな
Are you capable of surpassing me?
至らせぬ至らせはせぬよ黄金の魔女の高みにはな
I won't let you reach. I will not let you reach. Not to the Golden Witch's height, you see. Wah! Ha 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 ha.
お前の浅はかな推理など私一人を超えることもできぬわ
Your thoughtless reasoning cannot surpass even me alone.
死ね
Die! Ah! Back up! Back up! Oh my god! The fuck did I just see? Kinzo's jet black cape spread as though it would swallow the world, becoming the snout of a vast black dragon that came at me, trying to swallow me in one gulp. Okay. Faced with that black dragon's roar, I calmed my breathing and closed my eyes lightly.
お前など一息に飲み込んでくれるわ
I'll swallow you up in a single gulp!
消え去れ未熟者め
Disappear, inexperienced fool!
黙りな死に損ないの亡霊め
Quiet, you damn undying ghost.
おうわしを亡霊呼ばわりしてみせるか
Oh, so you call me a ghost?
あくまでもわしはすでに死んでおるとする仮説を貫くか
So, you intend to see me through to the end, this theory that I'm already dead.
それがお前の命取りよ
I will prove fatal to you!
第4のゲームの第1の番にて闇に飲み込まれて消え去るがよい
Be swallowed up by the first twilight of the fourth game and disappear. The black dragon's vast mouth, its snout, its fangs, swallowed Battler whole. In that instant, Battler suddenly opened his eyes.
ありがとうよベアトリーチェ
Thanks, Beatrice.
お前の第3のゲーム俺の反撃の足がかりとなる
Your third game became a foothold for my counterattack. What?
あばよクソじじい
See ya, damn geezer.
こいつでお別れだぜ
This is goodbye.
俺は金蔵死亡説が第4のゲームでも主張できる根拠として以下の仮説を提唱する
As a basis for claiming that Kinzo was dead, even in the fourth game, I propose the following theory.
よかろう存分に来るがよい我が末裔よ
Very well. Come with all you have, my descendant. Also, I don't want to alarm, but the lights in my apartment just flickered. So, again, I warn, if the stream just cuts out, I should still have the recording, and then we'll just go to Saturday. But well, I'm hoping nothing bad's gonna happen. My descendant.
ぜクソじじい。
Here I go, you damn geezer.
金蔵の名は後宮家当主の称号として引き継がれているという仮説だ。
Oh, save. That's a good point. I didn't even think about that. See, I'm so dumb where I was like, well, you know, because I'm only thinking of like the stream. But yeah, saving probably would be a good point. All right, here I go, you damn geezer. My theory is that the name of Kinzo gets passed on as the title of the Ishimiya family head.
後宮金蔵はすでに死んでいる。
Ishimiya Kinzo was already dead,
そしてその名を誰かが継承した。
and he passed that name on to someone else.
全員が承認した。
Everyone acknowledged that.
それにより親族会議に居合わせた全員が金蔵の存在を認めた。
That way, all those who met at the family conference acknowledged the presence of Kinzo.
じい様の変装をする必要さえもないのさ。
There wasn't even any need for someone to disguise themselves as grandfather,
一同が新しい金蔵を認めたのだから。
because everyone acknowledged a new Kinzo.
よって見間違えるわけもない。
So, they didn't actually mistake Kinzo by sight.
以上の仮説が否定されない限り、お前が死んでいるという事実は
As long as
変わらない。
this theory is not denied, nothing can change the fact that you're dead.
これでとどめだぜ。
This is the final blow.
クソじじい、お前に復唱要求だ。
Damn geezer, I demand that you repeat it.
全人物の中で異なる複数の名前を持つ人物は存在しない。
Among all the people there, not one had multiple, different names. I cannot. But what if it was someone other than Kinzo who had a different name? Or is that me overthinking again? What if like I don't know. What if Maria has a secret second name?
安らかに眠りな。クソじじい。
Rest in peace, damn geezer.
感謝しろよ。お前、やっと死ねたんだぜ。
Thank me. You're finally able to die.
こいつが引導だ。食らってくたばりな。
This is your requiem. Take it and drop dead.
後宮金蔵はすでに死亡している。
Ishimiya Kinzo was already dead.
そうさ。あんたは気の毒だよな。その死体が見つかる場合、いつも丸焼けだ。
Maria in all caps Maria. That's right. You definitely deserve to be pitied, since whenever we find your corpse, it's always completely burnt.
それは死後が経過している死体であることを悟られないための工作なのさ。
That was a device to hide the fact that time had passed since your death.
そしてその名を誰かが受け継いだ。
Then, you pass that name out to someone else.
以上の仮説で、てめえは死亡しているにもかかわらず、金蔵は親族会議に登場することができる。
With this theory, even though you were dead, Kinzo was able to appear at the family conference. What if, like, remember, like, a stream or two ago, there was, like, me, and I think my friend were, like, panicking about, like, Battler being his own grandpa or something? What if it's deeper than that? What if the Ishimiya Kinzo, like, title was already passed on to Battler, and, like, that's the thing? What if, like, we saw Kinzo's corpse on 3 games, 1, 3, and 4. He's completely burned on the boiler room all times. Yes. True. But yeah, just getting back to what I was saying, like, what if the thing here, he's just saying, oh, it was passed on to someone. But then what would be, then you'd have to, if I'm running with this theory, what are the logistics of that? Was it passed on to him while Battler himself was avoiding, like, the family conferences? And then does that have something to do with the sin thing? Then is that possibly like a sin thing? And it's like, oh, well, did something happen while Battler wasn't there where it then got passed to him? Where am I going with this? Where am I going with this? I'm looking around my apartment looking for an answer. Where am I going with this? Because that sounds like something crazy that would happen, right? Like Kinzo passes on the title of Ishirimiya. Ishirimiya can't even speak anymore. I'm so tired. My brain's so dead. But passes on the title of Kinzo to Battler, and he's unaware. And then that would fit in with like, oh, everyone knew. And then like... And then you gotta question, did the rest of the family know that Kinzo passed it on to him already? You know, then it's like, okay, is everyone else aware, or are they also unaware? Did Kinzo just pass the title on to him without telling anyone else? I'm like grasping at straws, because it sounds like something, this story would do as like a wild thing. It's like, oh fuck, Battler is Kinzo. And then it would make it very funny that me and my friend were freaking out about like Battler being his own grandpa, because then it's like, it's not directly that he's his own grandpa, but he's got his grandpa's title. But I digress with all of that. The random ramblings of me. So, let me reread this. That was a device to hide the fact that time had passed since your death. Then, you passed that name on to someone else. With this theory, even though you were dead, Kinzo was able to appear at the family conference. How's that? This is checkmate! Also, what if... Well, no, the toes thing. 6 toes. I can't believe a theory I was just about to say was thwarted by the toes. Okay, in the fourth game, we saw Kinzo's corpse in the boiler room. But we saw what happened to his corpse. Like, Beatrice, like, snapped it and puffed it into fire. Was then the body taken to the boiler room? Or is it 2 separate instances? Because now I'm going back to the theory that Goldsmith isn't actually Kinzo at all, right? If he was just a stand-in. Like, I'm probably even more wrong about this, but let's operate under the fact that Goldsmith isn't actually Kinzo. No, but then the family would have brought up, like, you're not your dad. I don't know. Fuck it, I'm abandoning it. How's that? This is checkmate! Oh my god. Several dozen blue stakes bored into Kinzo's ghost. Their terrible destructive power wouldn't let the ghost recover again. Oh, look how cool he looks. Kinzo. Thank you for everything. Rest in peace. I will not forget my time spent with you. Oh man, it's been a while. I haven't seen that. See, what is it? Did I name it? Blast It. Blast It doesn't get as much play, unfortunately. It's a lot more. It's a lot harder to use that. I will not forget my time spent with you. Dispersing along with the shadow of Black Dragon, its golden flower petals scattered, Ishirimiya Kinzo became a gold-colored cyclone and disappeared. Even after death, he had fought for the sake of the woman he loved. There's no doubting that your love and madness were the real thing.
バトラー
Battler,
恨むな
don't hate me.
死者は眠らせろ
Let the dead sleep.
起こすな
Don't wake them.
次こそは
You're up
お前
next.
これでお前
Oh,
も最
cut
後
him off. Sorry, Battler. This is the end for you, too. Beato still couldn't pull out the blue wedge that pierced her foot. She realized that she was on the verge of death.
お前には随分と付き合ったぜ
I've gone along with you a whole bunch.
お前の遊び相手としての義理は十分果たしたはずだ
I think I've more than fulfilled any responsibility I had to play with you.
だがそろそろお片付けの時間だぜ
But it's about time to finish things up.
家で寂しがり屋の妹が待ってるんだ
I've got a lonely little sister waiting at home.
家族揃っておいとまさせてもらうぜ
Let me take my leave with my whole family
ならば殺
and kill me.
せならばわらわを殺してみせよ
In that case, try and kill me.
逃げも隠れもせん今や避けることもかなわぬわ
I won't run or hide, and by now I won't even be able to avoid it.
来い白宮バトラー
Come on, Ishiromio Battler!
おう
You've got it.
金蔵死亡説による18人目の X により残り全てを貫く
With the 18th person X from the Kinzo was dead theory, everything that remained has been pierced through.
第4のゲームにおけるジョージの兄貴とジェシカの死も X が犯人で説明できる
George, Nikki, and Jessica's deaths in the fourth game can also be explained by Culprit X.
地下牢から逃げて殺された5人も園芸倉庫の2人も最後のマリアも
And the 5 who escaped from the dungeon and were killed, and the 2 in the gardening shed, and Maria in the end.
全て18人目の X で説明できる
All of those can be explained with 18th person X.
何もおかしなことはない
There's nothing strange there at all.
以上にて全てのゲームにおける犯人の説明を人間にて完了する
With this, I fully explain the culprit using humans for all games.
ベアトリーチェこれだチェックメイトだ
Now, the way he said that, Beatrice, this is checkmate! Oh my god. Jeez. Also, I did not sound half as cool as Battler did saying checkmate. Unfortunately. I'm like budget Battler here. Screaming checkmate into my mic in my apartment here. She screams. Beatrice, who couldn't dodge, had several blue stakes driven into her and was skewered. Beatrice grabbed at them, trying to pull them out somehow. She dead?
食らっちまった
That got me.
痛えよ
It hurts.
こりゃ死ぬな
This'll kill me, won't it?
こいつを引き抜かなきゃ
If I don't pull these out,
死んじまう
I'll die.
痛いのは嫌だ
I've had enough of the pain.
辛いのは
I've had enough of
嫌
the anguish. With both hands, Beato firmly grasped one of the blue stakes. Ow! Ow, 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 ow. Naturally, the power of the witch denying blue truth burned her hands. Unable even to hide her tears at the pain, Beato howled and tried to pull the stakes out with all her might.
これが抜けなきゃ死んでしまう
If I can't pull these out, I'll die.
これが最後の反撃
This is my final counterattack.
ならバトラー
And Battler.
我が魔法の数々をどう説明するのか。
How do you explain my several acts of magic?
一番最初に登場したのは第2のゲームにおいてわらわがマリアのかぼちゃのマシュマロを直してやった時だ。
The very first time those appeared was in the second game when I fixed Maria's pumpkin marshmallow.
この時ローザはその魔法を確かに目撃している。
At that time, Rosa definitely witnessed that magic. He's gonna say something like, "Yeah, you fooled a little girl. You're no better than a David Blaine or a Chris Angel mind freak. You did simple street tricks." Certainly, at the time, Rosa witnessed gold butterflies gathering in the fixing of a marshmallow by the miracle of magic. Cackle, cackle.
ローザ一人の目撃では信憑性がないであろ
Rosa alone witnessing it isn't very credible, right?
う。だからわらわはその目撃者を極限まで増やしたのだ。
That's why I increased the number of witnesses to the uppermost limit later on.
それこそが今回のゲームよ。
Which is what happened in this last game.
我が眷属たちの召喚、
The summoning of my minions,
そして魔法による虐殺、
and brutal murders due to magic.
それらのすべてを大勢の人間たちに目撃させた。
All of those were witnessed by a great many people.
それこそが我が魔法の存在する証明。
That is itself proof that my magic exists.
これをどう説明するのか。後ろ宮バトラー。
How do you explain that? You sure me a battler.
ステイルメイト。
Stalemate. What?
魔法があるから魔法はある。
Magic exists because magic exists.
そういう論法にはできないってのが俺たちのブラウン管裁判のルールのはずだぜ。
Didn't the rules of our Brawn Tube trial say that you couldn't use that kind of argument?
そうだった。
Or bringing that back up. Yes, you're right.
誰が
No matter who
何人
or how many people
魔法を目撃しようとも
witness magic,
それは魔法の存在の証明にはならない。
I cannot become proof of magic's existence.
俺はお前が見せてきた全ての魔法の存在するしないの遺憾にかかわらずその全てを無視して人間で説明することができる。
Whether all the magic you've shown exists or not, I can ignore it all and explain things with humans.
それは俺の不可侵の権利である。
That's my undeniable right.
違ったか。
Am I wrong? You're just sad the epic song's over. I know. Now you get the sad piano plucking. Bing 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 bing. Whenever this song plays, I'm always like, oh, am like, oh, some massive bummer is happening. Some kind of bummer is The mood has been brought down. At those words, the blue stakes let out an even brighter light, knocking my hands away.
やはり
Seems I can't
抜けぬか。
pull them out after all. As battlers now, even if I pull up a witness for each individual bit of magic and demand an explanation, he'll probably use some kind of move to deny all of them. Not just the magic with the marshmallow I showed Rosa, but all the miracles of magic. So, I can no longer even claim to be a witch without questioning him about something like how a marshmallow was fixed. I'm in such an inferior position that I must fight over such trivialities.
わらわは無理かもしれぬ。
It may be impossible for me.
わかっている。
I know that.
もとより勝ちのなきゲームだったのだ。
This was to be a game without victory from the very beginning.
なればいつか敗れる日が来るのは当然のこと。
So, it's only natural that the day of my defeat would eventually come.
わらわはバトラに敗れるためだけに
Have I thought,
今日までを
up until today,
戦ってきたというのか。
just to lose to Battler?
勝てるかもしれないと
I
始
began
めたゲームだった。
the game, thinking I might be able to win.
簡単には勝てなくても無限に繰り返すゲームの中でいつかは奇跡が起こると信じてた。
Even if I wouldn't be able to win easily, I believe that in a game repeating endlessly, a miracle would eventually occur.
何しろわらわには絶対に勝つという絶対の意志がある。
After all, I had certain willpower on my side, an unwavering desire to win with certainty.
しかし今やその奇跡は完全に失われた。
However, I've now lost that miracle completely.
そして絶対の意志はバトラに宿り私には万一の奇跡も絶対にない。
And that certain willpower resides in Battler, leaving me certainly without even a 1 in a million chance at a miracle.
いや奇跡も絶対もないが正しいのか。
Or perhaps I should say I've been left without a miracle or certainty.
勝利はなく引き分けによる終了もない。
Yeah. I'll have no victory, and no end through a tie.
唯一許された決着
The only resolution allowed me
敗北を与えられるまで
is to continue on resisting.
永遠と抗うだけのゲーム。
Until defeat is given to me in this game. I thought there was going to be a bit more.
そうさ私は
That's right, I...
バトラに殺されるためだけに
And
戦っている。
gosh, you got me there. God damn it, Beatrice. I'm fighting only to be killed by Battler. I looked into Battler's eyes. That which was reflected inside them wasn't me. The figures of the little sister waiting for his return, and the family he had to bring back were reflected in those eyes. To him, my existence is already not even that of an individual. Obviously. From the very beginning, he has been trying to deny the individual that I am.
前回のゲームは
Yes, that last game
面白かったな。
sure was fun.
ちょっと騙しただけだったけど
I was only tricking him a bit.
ほんのわずかな間だけでも分かり合えたような感じになって面白かったな。
But for just a short period of time, felt like we understood each other, and that was fun.
そうだよ。
That's right.
そこで手を打っておけばよかったんだよ。
I should have made my move then.
バトラがコロッと騙されたまま永遠に騙し続けてればよかったんだ。
I should have made my move then. I should have continued for eternity with Battler still totally fooled.
でも
But
ダメなんだよな。
that's just no good, right?
あれじゃ
That
本当の勝ちじゃないんだよな。
just wouldn't be true victory.
これでチェックメイトか。
Is this checkmate,
ベアトリーチェ。
Beatrice? Beato had been run through with several blue stakes, skewered over and over to the ground while still standing. Because of that, she wasn't even able to fall over. And, still looking up into the sky, was sewn in place. That tragic form. Might have been a fitting end for the cruel witch, who had endlessly toyed with 18 people's lives, who had killed constantly for hundreds of thousands of years. Gently, as though someone was mourning over something, rain began to fall. Amid that rain, Beato was soaked and crucified.
終わりなのかベアト
Is it over, Beato?
グーの音も
Can't.
出ぬわ
Even let out a squeak.
まだだろ
Not yet.
お前はこの程度で終わる女じゃねえだろ
You aren't a woman who'll let things end with just this.
無茶
Don't be
を言う
ridiculous.
この姿がどう見たら
How can you look at this
終わっていないように
and think that it isn't
見えるのか
over?
早くとどめを刺せよ
Quickly, deliver the final blow. Just say it.
お前の青き真実で
With your blue truth.
以上により
According to this,
魔女は存在しない
witches do not exist. Say it.
言っちまえよ
Just say it.
その一撃で
With that single blow,
私の息の
just put a stop
根を止めてしまえ
to my breathing.
ダメだな
It's useless.
ほ
Oh?
うわらわにこれ以上生き恥をさらせというのか
She would expose me to even further shame?
すでに決着はついておろうに
Isn't it settled already?
立てよ
Stand up.
俺たちの殴り合いはまだ終わってない
Our brawl still isn't over.
まだ
Not over, you say?
お前のそれは負けじゃない
That just now wasn't you losing.
もうやめたと投了しているだけだ
You just stopped and gave up.
いいではないかよ
Isn't that enough?
投了で
Wouldn't giving up
それでそなたの勝ちだろうが
mean your victory?
とっと
You should
と妹のところへ
return to your little sister
帰るがいい
right away.
わらわなどこの場に
Just throw me away.
打ち捨てていけ
Right here. I'm kind of over having to read labored speaking from Beato. For fuck's sake, Beato, just die already.
俺は言ったはずだ
Didn't I tell you?
逃げない
I won't run away.
そして
And
お前を逃がさないとな
I won't let you run away.
お前は何者だ
I know, she's just like, I'm so fucking weak. Oh, I hurt. I'm done for. And then Battler's like, fucking grow up. Come on. Just who are you?
そして一体何が望みだったんだ
And what in the world is it that you want?
それが知りたくばそなたの18番でも試せばよい
If you want to know, why don't you just try your favorite move? Oh no. Is she asking for him to spin that Spin that funky chessboard, white boy. That was such a dumb joke.
いいではないか。
Isn't it better this way?
ただ
With me as a mere
の妄想、
delusion?
幻想、
An illusion?
それ
Isn't that
でいいではないか。
enough?
全然ダメだぜ。
It's all useless.
俺はお前を
I won't
逃がさない。
let you run away.
俺はお前を打ち破る。
I'll break through you.
このまま逃がしてなるもんか。
How could I let you run away like this?
お前をうやむやにしたまま幻想の暗闇に逃げ帰らせはしない。
I won't let you run back to the darkness of illusions while you're still all hazy like this.
打ち破る。
I'll break through you.
完全にな。
Completely.
だから立て。
So stand up.
弱々しいふりなんかするな。
Don't act all frail like that.
お前はまだなんてか隠してる。
You're still hiding several moves.
俺にはわかる。
I can tell.
なぜおとなしく見逃してくれぬのか。
Why won't you just let me escape?
親父を、おふくろを、そしてエンゼを、
Dad, Mom, and Angie,
いとこのみんなや親族のみんなを、
all the cousins and all the relatives,
そして使用人のみんなを。
and all the servants.
お前はあれだけもてあそんで殺した。
You toyed with them so much and killed them.
その非道を俺は絶対に忘れない。許さない。
I definitely won't forget. Won't forget that. Won't forget that inhumanity.
俺の肩にはよ、まだエンジェの腕の感触が残ってるんだよ。
I could still feel Angie's arms on my shoulders.
俺はお前の非道を許さない。
I won't forgive your inhumanity.
だからそんなことで
So I won't let you
許
get.
さない。
So I won't let you get away like this. Bowser's eyes burn with the flames of hatred. The time had long since passed, during which pitiful behavior would have earned his compassion. True. He's not He's fool him once. Shame on him. Fool him twice. Also shame on him. Fool him 3 times. He's a fucking idiot. But he will not be fooled a 4th time. After being tricked once, Battler will never sympathize with me again.
狼と羊のパズルどころか。
Instead of the wolves and sheep puzzle,
これじゃ狼少年だな。
this is like the boy who cried wolf, isn't it?
どうすればいいんだよ。わらわは
What am I supposed to do?
どうすれ
What should I do?
ば負けを認めぬためだけに無限に戦うの。無限の魔女にふさわしき無限の拷問か。
Is fighting endlessly only to avoid admitting defeat a fitting endless torture for the endless witch? Give me an update time-wise. Yeah, go ahead. That's fine.
バトラに勝利を与え
I was about to ask. I need to figure out when would be the best time to end and then just leave the rest chunk for Saturday. Is endlessly harassing battler to avoid giving a victory also part of being the endless witch?
悲しいな。
It's so sad.
こんなのが
Is this
無限の魔法なのか。
what the endless magic is? Oh, no, it's fine. I don't care. Well, I mean, I care about spelling the right your, but I understand a simple typo. So if I'm 20 minutes ahead, I mean, without potentially spoiling, am I at, there's less than 2 hours left now at this point. Should I end tonight, like, sooner rather than later? Am I going to run into a good stopping point here in the short future? It's so sad. Is this what the endless magic is? I've
嫌だ。
had enough.
魔女たちに
I've... Like, part of me just, I maybe assumed, maybe incorrectly, but I was like, oh, since there's the Tea Party thing and the question mark thing, I was like, maybe they're around equal times. So I was like, maybe I could do the Tea Party tonight, and then the question mark thing Saturday. Because I was thinking, oh, there may be, like, similar time frames, but... Best stopping point is probably soon. Okay, we'll probably stop soon then. I mean, I needed to stop soon anyway. So I guess hopefully I'll just see a natural stopping point here in a bit. I've had enough. I've
無限に玩具にされるなんて
had enough
もう
of endlessly being toyed with
嫌だ
by witches.
勝ちはなく引き分け終了もない
I love no victory and no tie.
ならばわらわを解放してくれる結末は
In that case, there's only one.
一つしかない
In that case, there's only one result that can release me.
「魔女の道に落ちた時から
Since the time I succumbed to the path of witches,
悪魔と契約をしたその日から
since the day I made that contract with demons,
末路は悲劇であると
it was promised that
約束されていたではないか
God damn it, Beatrice. It was promised that I would meet my end through tragedy, was it not?
どうした
What's wrong?
黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェ
Golden Witch Beatrice?
六軒島の支配者ならば最後もそれにふさわしい貫禄を見せてみろ
If you are the ruler of Okajima, show me a majesty fitting for that, even at the very end. Show me a majesty fitting for that, even at the very end. I mean... Lightning. The world was smashed with white. Fitting last moments for the ruler of Okajima. Whoa! Like on this frame exactly? Like I should stop on this enlarged Beatrice head? on this enlarged Beatrice JPEG? Alright. Oh, look at this. It's just the two of them. I was just seeing if this was anything interesting. Alright, we'll save it here then. Big Beatrice head. Alright, so we've set the stage then for a finale stream of the questions arc for Saturday night. It'll be short, seemingly, but that's fine. If we're in the mood for it, we'll probably pivot to something else for the rest of like a normal Saturday night type stream. Don't know how weird it should be on your end. On my side, I mean. Boom, boom. What the now? This is such a fucking like cliffhanger. The hell is Beatrice laughing about? What is she gonna go out with? What is she gonna say here? What could she possibly say? Create a separate stream and then start episode 5 after finishing episode 4? You mean, do you think that would be better as a flow thing? That's a hard bargain. That's a hard bargain. But I could consider it, I guess. Yeah, I'll think about it. I'll consider it. I have now 3 days to I guess consider it 4 days. Technically 4 days. I mean, either way, I'll think of something. I do want the clean breaks as far as the archive version, so it wouldn't be necessarily that hard. I can like if I really wanted to do that, I could very easily create the break in like just the recordings, right? Like I can stop and start recordings with the click of a button and everything. And then mostly just comes down to what would I want to do? Like, would I want to finish the game and then have like a weekend, like the rest of the weekend off, or not off, but the rest of the weekend to just sit on finishing the questions arc and then being like, all right, and then like a nice, like for me, like a nice break for me for being like, now we're going in refreshed into the answers arc type thing is mostly what I was thinking, but I'll think about it. I'll consider it. I feel like I could. I see the visions. I see the vision of just finishing whatever's left of here of episode 4 and then being like, oh shit, we gotta go right into episode 5. And then I also see my original vision of just being like, okay, finish episode 4, finish questions arc, give myself like, I mean, seemingly either 2 days or like a whole week, and then us starting in on the answers arc as like a fresh kind of thing. Another thing, funny, the meme that Trash was thinking about still hasn't come up. Oh, it still hasn't come up. Oh. So it's funny, yeah, because he knows the memes. He had kind of spoiled himself with memes. He had let me know, but yeah, he was definitely saying he didn't know the point that it happened at. So then it has to come Saturday. That's funny. That's funny. Great. So all right, we have a meme to look forward to apparently on Saturday. That's good. That's really good. All right, let's see. Today's Tuesday. Like I said, finale of this coming Saturday. See, part of me thinks, like, now seeing the Goatkin thing, that, like, because it's, like, apparently a meme out of context, the goat thing might have been hard for him to have got, like, seen, I feel like. Unless you see that kind of, like, in context, like, that doesn't seem like it would make much of an impact. But so let's see. Saturday, Umineko questions arc finale. Wednesday, most likely dipping back into Master Detective Archives. Friday, originally I was thinking Master Detective Archives. I might do that again on Friday just so we can advance that. So that might be the next 2 streams. Obviously nothing Thursday. And we're definitely not doing day streams, at least this weekend. I'm back to having some stuff needing to be worked on during the days of weekend. So we'll be back Saturday night on that front, Sunday night as well, most likely. Thank you so much for watching. Never have to thank me for the streamings. I'm just hanging out, playing and reading a video game. Thank you for spending your time with me on the stream. And yes, see you in another stream. Until then.